Peace, beautiful people. As your digital loctician, I wanted to come and acknowledge and share some advice to a very common question during this time. What happens if I don't retwist my locks? And I'm going to answer this question for multiple types of locks and in different stages of locks. If you have sister locks or locks that are maintained with interlocking, I will post a separate video and you can find that in the description box. This video is for addressing the question, what's gonna happen if I don't retwist my locks for weeks, maybe even months, depending on how long some of these salons are shut down? And it's a very valid question, so let's get into it. First, I want to acknowledge you if you have just started your locks, maybe within the last 6 months, and give you some advice. One of the most common things that you'll have to be aware of or could possibly happen is that your locks could grow flat. Typically we're used to locks being very round and cylindrical in shape, but if you're not grooming them, giving them shape, they can start to grow flat. Think about like freeform locks. They tend to be flat versus more round. Another thing that is pretty common with not grooming your locks is that they start to join together at the roots, and that can also lead to a loss of your parting system. Those two things tend to go hand in hand. It's very common if you're not grooming them, so definitely be aware of that. And then the fourth really common thing that can happen if you're not retwisting your locks consistently is you may experience thinning at the root of your locks. So just as a general overview, those are the 4 things that can possibly happen while you're not retwisting your locks consistently. But what I want you to know is that even though you may not be retwisting, I would definitely encourage you to be shampooing and cleansing your locks. Even if you just started them, you can definitely shampoo your locks. If you need help with that, check the description box below. I have video training and I also have an article that has a lot of tips for shampooing starter locks or new locks. This time period could be a little bit more damaging for you because your locks have not been trained. More mature locks, locks that have been growing for like a year plus, they have some like discipline, if you will, so they can kind of withstand. You know, it's like a teenager. You let that teenager be free for a while, yeah, they may make some mistakes, but more than likely they'll stay on the path that you've put them on. Whereas a toddler, you give them free range and they're just going to lose their GD mind. So with starter locks, please, 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 if you can, I would encourage you to groom your locks. But if nothing else, make sure you keep them separated so that you can maintain your parting system so that the hair can still continue with the locking process. Now with more mature locks, people talk about semi-free-forming all the time, and a lot of people try to do it, but in my experience, a lot of people don't do it properly. So if you have mature locks, you can kind of embrace this semi-freeform idea, but I would highly encourage you to watch a video that I've posted, I want to say maybe last year. I'll also link to in the description box, but it gives you some tips and techniques for how to semi-freeform properly so you're not experiencing thinning. Either way, starter locks, mature locks, I want to encourage you, again, make sure you're cleansing. It's very, very important. Making sure you're keeping your locks moisturized or refreshed, as we just watched in my previous video. And also make sure you are covering your hair. This is important, you know, for frizz, but it's also important because I've heard talks that this COVID-19 virus can attached to hair, and you know, we already are not washing our hair that often. So this is the time, if you have to go out, because you know most of us are locked down, if you have to go out, please make sure you are covering your hair and then subsequently cleaning it on a regular basis, even if you're not retwisting. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comment box. Also, make sure you check the description area for links to classes of how to retwist your locks at home, how to semi-freeform properly, and tips for managing starter locks. I'll link all of that below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you are taking time to rest, recharge, find the light in the situation. And if you haven't found it, I'm sending you peace, love, and good vibes.